You all ready?
Sure.
So I'll be ready after the count. Good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. Tonight is Thursday, April 12, 2018. It is 6 p.m. I would like to call this Sacramento Metro Fire Board meeting to order. We'd like to start with a pledge to the flag. Director Jones, please.
Thank you. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Tonight's meeting, this open session meeting, is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay is on Saturday, April 14, 2018 at 2 p.m. and Monday, April 16, 2018 at 12 noon on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Right now is the public's opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers this evening?
There are no speakers this evening.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the consent items. Do we have any questions?
Mr. Chair, I'll move the consent.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk.
Director Gale.
Yes.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
And Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We do not have any action items this evening, so we will be moving directly into the reports. President's report, I do not have anything this evening. Moving on to the fire chief's report, Chief Harms.
Good evening, directors. It's been a few weeks since we've been together. First off, I want to recognize all of our dispatchers that are out there. This week is the 2018 National Public Safety Telecommunication Week. We've done something special for our group that is over there. A lot of times they are the ones in the first responder side that are missed, that are out there, but they do a tremendous job, and I believe it's a job I would have difficulty doing, sitting on a phone and looking at a screen, but they do a phenomenal job every single day. Coming up here, we have a recruitment that is going on. We have some changes that are going to be happening in EMS. We have some day captains that are over there that will be replacing them. Chief Hine and Chief Schumacher have put together a video and are working with that. Also, Director Jones and Gould, thank you for putting a piece into that also as we move forward with the EMS day captains. We're also recruiting a planned intake specialist right now. Had a couple of retirements. We had a Battalion Chief Greg Westfall retired at the end of March, and on April 9th, Assistant Chief Larry Savage retired. Both of those have been members of the district for a number of years. And it's hard to see that amount of expertise along with their seniority in the organization leave, but we wish them well in their retirement. We had some SRP paramedics that are, or EMTs that were promoted to paramedic. Omar Franco and Matthew Bogovich were EMTs with us and have now gone through and completed the necessary coursework and are now certified as paramedics. We promoted Dan Baker to battalion chief, and Courtney Moore took the position as the procurement specialist. We also had a new hire of a fire investigator. Chris Rogers is his name. A few months ago, or I guess it was the last one we had a presentation about the arson unit and the staffing over there, and it took us a few months to really work through that one, but we had Chris here this week and did his swearing in and gave him his badge at that time. A number of years, something, I don't quote me, but like 18 years of service as an officer. Also during that time, he's had a lot of experience with kind of secondary being the arson side of it. I think he's going to be a great fit for us, and that background and that experience on the law side is going to be really helpful to the unit over there. We continue to have our meetings that are going on. One of the things that started when I got here was what we call the Chiefs Forums. and we had our third round of them. We meet with every member within the district. So all 700 members, we meet with them in 20 sessions, and we try to do that over 6 days. So it's myself, the deputies, the ACs, and then each one of the battalion chiefs have to come in during that time. It's an opportunity, even though we're a large organization, but an opportunity to sit face to face with each other. The ops came in and gave a report on kind of what's going on in operations. They talked about some of the training that we have going on right now. The BCs are very involved as instructors with their members in the training program. They talked about the ops calendar. We talked about the opportunity for some dispatch changes that are coming up. And one thing that the members, and we've had a lot of conversations about, is recruitment. And we wanted to make sure that the members understand each one of these things of where we're at and where we're going moving forward. We also talked about response. We talked about Code 3 driving and the risks that we take with Code 3 driving and some accountability on the fire ground, and how we don't want to lose that ability to make sure, really under the worst case scenarios, that we don't lose somebody that's out there. For myself, we talked a lot about the culture and leadership in the organization, and where we're at today, a little bit of where we're going in the future with the culture and the organization. And we also talked about some opportunities, and what are those opportunities, and that it's something that you don't change around overnight, but it's something that we stay focused on and we stay moving forward. So it's very interesting in the sessions. We'll have some sessions where we have to cut people off and tell them to quit talking, and we have some sessions that they won't say a word to us while we're in there. So it's a very different one there. We had a few of us were able to go down. Our President Barnes was honored and promoted to captain. So we were down and attended the ceremony, which was a very nice ceremony. Congratulations on your promotion. That was very well done. Your PIO can talk quickly. So that was very well done by him. Chief Johnson attended and participated in a town hall with Senator Harris recently. We also went out, myself, Chief Johnson, and Jeff Fry went out and met with the airport and talked about, is there an opportunity for a fee for service or an agreement for us to provide service to the international airport. So we had a meeting out there this week and went over what are the opportunities with them as we move forward. What else is on there? One last thing that I'll just talk about is that we had myself, Chief Castantini, along with CFO Amanda, along with the Vice President and the President from 522, sat down with the SCRS Retirement Board. And we went through and had a meeting on where we're at today. And some of you remember when during the merge that happened, the Florin members were SCRS members and that they were brought over. There's been a liability that's been hanging out there. We had a couple pre-meetings, but we wanted to sit down and figure out that liability and how we move forward in the future. We invited 522 to come to the table at that time and also sit down with them. And Eric Stern is the CEO over there, and he came himself with the staff. And we're building a plan. I'm building a plan for moving forward on that. That ends my report unless you have any questions.
Any questions or comments from the chief? Sir. Director Kelly.
Before that last item, you mentioned that Mo Johnson had met with Senator Harris, did you say? Mm-hmm. Not sure who Senator Harris is.
Kamala Harris.
Oh, Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
State, United States Senator.
Yeah.
United States Senator.
Yeah.
U.S. Senator, sorry.
Thank you very much. And I do thank you for the leadership that you show the teams. I mean, for you to show up at a personal event for me on a professional level speaks volumes of that. It was a special moment. So for you to be there, thank you very much. It means a lot. Operations report, Chief Bridge.
Good evening, President Barnes, directors, Chief Arms, Eric Bridge, Deputy Chief Operations. Have not a whole lot to report, but that's a good thing. We've had about 3 weeks since that last one, so our call volume is staying consistent right there. We're about 5,500 total calls since our last board meeting. But I just wanted to touch on it. Fire activity was high, so, and just grateful that Chris Rogers, our new investigator, is coming on board. There's a lot of activity going on in the arson division, so more to follow on those things for us. So he came on just the right amount of time. The other thing is we're doing a lot of live fire training right now. Historically, in the past, the training that we have done in the fire academies haven't been dedicated, enough time has not been dedicated to fire behavior. And we've identified that gap, and we're doing a lot of that right now. So a lot of our members are currently, and we're going to keep this annually, we were increasing the number of live fire training opportunities for us, which is a good thing because fire is extremely predictable once you understand it. So once we get better trained in what fire behavior is, that's going to help everybody, especially the citizens that may be unfortunately trapped in a fire situation. We can help make it better for them, but not only that, but we'll make it better for us as well going into that environment. So I'm excited about the amount of training we're doing in that environment, and our troops are doing great, running a lot of calls. We're happy to report they're all healthy and safe. So we're going to hope to keep it that way. So I don't have much more for you tonight. Any questions?
Any questions or comments? Nope. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Sacramento Firefighters Local 522, Vice President Trevor Jameson.
Good evening, directors, Chief Arms, Captain Barnes, I could say right there. Well, it's good to be here tonight. I always love getting up here and addressing you and giving just a little update on what's going on. Again, I'll be brief, but some of the stuff that we are working on, and I wanted to echo with what Chief Harm said about SIRS. We recognize SIRS is an issue with this district. As a local, we're committed to protecting our members and also trying to protect protect the long-term health financially of the district. So we appreciate being at the table for that and being part of that conversation. It's something that's going to be better for everyone going forward. Also, I just want to. I know some of you are going to cap, and you're representing the fire district and as Metro Fire, and I think it's great to be doing that. But I just wanted to get up here and kind of offer a little anecdotal of what we do. And fortunately, I get to go still work, even though on days I go work some overtime. And sometimes it's interesting to do that after being in this position and get back out there and then take a step back and realize really what line we hold out there, what we're doing every day. And I worked at the same station for 2 days, and we did everything from be first in on a fire, first in on extrication. We wrapped a homeless guy's foot and bought him a cheeseburger. And we installed smoke detectors for an elderly lady. And so when you think about what we do and what the fire service represents and what our members do and those who support us, the mechanics, the inspectors, the people who deliver our supplies, logistics, it's a big deal. And we really are. We're one of the last things in society that can handle that. And I just want to let you know that I'm proud to represent those people, and I know you are as well, but it's a great group of people, and we do a great job out there, and the fire service should be very proud. And so I hope that when you're back there and you're representing Metro Fire and the fire service that you feel that too. So that's all I have, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Any questions or comments? I just want to thank you for being here, being in the dialogue and the conversations. I think it's great as moving forward. That's going to be that universal front. There's going to be some disagreements, and we know some some bumps in the road, but no doubt you'll get there. And I agree with you. We're in the business of helping human beings, and we provide service to human beings. And when we go back there, that's going to be that message also, is they represent human beings. And unless we can be able to provide those services and continue to do so, and also the impact of what this industry has on the individual human being, behind the scenes after going through a full day like that and repetitive over a 25-year career, it's important. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive committee, we did meet this evening at 5:30 to discuss a vacancy on the policy committee. Director Jones has filled that. As an alternate chair is Director Sheets. Thank you very much for volunteering for that. Moving on to the next meeting for the executive committee has not been identified. It is to be determined. Moving on to, Communication Center JPA, Chief Johnson.
Good evening, directors, Chief Arms. Congratulations, Captain Barnes. So the Comm Center JPA met last on March 12th with nothing significant to report from that meeting. Our next meeting is going to be on April 25th. One note of significance, however, the JPA staff has been invited down to the state capitol, and they're going to meet with on the floor with State Senator Jeff Stone, where they'll receive a Senate resolution on behalf of all of the 911 public safety dispatchers in the state of California. This is an appreciation of and recognition of the Public Safety Telecommunications Week. So that's a big kudos to them for being able to go down and take that resolution on behalf of the entire state. End report.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We have the California Fire Rescue Training JPA. Excuse me, let's go back to the communications. The next meeting is scheduled for April 25th, if we did say that. And if you said that, I apologize, I missed that. California Fire and Rescue JPA is supposed to be Chief Shannon. Do we have a report?
I'll cover for Chief Shannon. They have not met. Their next meeting is scheduled for June 21st.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moving on to Finance and Audit Committee, Director Kelly.
Our next scheduled meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, 5 p.m. or possibly 5:30.
Correct. Thank you. And Policy Committee, Director Gould.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Just clarify, Director Jones was voluntold to be part of our committee?
She graciously jumped at the privilege and the opportunity.
And how is Director Sheets involved? I wasn't
As an
sure.
alternate.
As an alternate to the same committee. Wonderful. Well, now we got a full group. That's wonderful. Our next meeting is Thursday, May 10th, 2018. Thank you.
May 10th, okay. Thank you very much. We're going to be going into closed session, but before, I'd like to go to board member questions and comments. Starting to my right, Director Gale.
For the summer camp, I will be paying for 2 attendees. One last year for my district, $200, no problem. And back to the cap to cap. It's a strange. Well, I got a litany of questions I'm going to give to the chief, because the buck stopped with the chief, not the clerk. And the other question is that necessary to have an attorney at every meeting? Is that in the contract for it, or could we save those funds for something more important than that? I think most of us, college educated, some grad, and we have gone to the courses, what have there. And is it that convoluted, difficult for us to get through without the service of an attorney at every meeting?
Well, if I may speak on that, I think it's
No,
best
that's to
practices.
the chief. He is the chief
I didn't know, was that
officer.
directed to the chief? I didn't know who you.
Directed to the chief.
Thank you. Chief Harms, would you like to make a
I
comment?
believe it is necessary to have him not only here for each meeting, but the interaction that we have with him on a daily basis and his staff. I believe that today is much like you, as I have a number of educational opportunities, but in today's time, I am not an expert in the side of the law, and having him here, having his counsel to be here, the relationship we have is a benefit to the district.
I have been on district, Sacramento Suburban, probably the best in the area. Horowitz, one of the best firms in the area, had them as a school district and other. But we didn't have Josh at every meeting, and it wasn't necessary. But if it's so convoluted, so complicated here, that, you know, when we run for office, we all are very smart, Phi Beta Kappas in some instances, we say, but now we do have one. But you're saying is that complicated, it's necessary.
Today's times are, yes.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Chief. Moving on, Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Trevor, I just want to thank you for those stories that you just shared with me about what's going on in the street and in your experience in those hours that you spent in the station. I really appreciate that, because that resonates as we go back to Washington, D.C. to say exactly what you said, that this is one of those last defenses for people that don't necessarily have other options. And so thank you for that. That really resonated with me tonight. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Lavra.
Thank you, Director Gould. Director Rosali.
I wanted to just take a moment. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to attend the initial meeting of the Placer County Fire Science ROP program and watch one of my family members be installed as a class member. It's a great program. It's a program that we want to support. We are actively seeking the opportunity to bring young people into the fire science, and they just have a wonderful way of doing that. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Gale, are you leaving the meeting, sir?
I'm leaving.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can we please make note that Director Gale is leaving the meeting? Thank you. Thank you, Director Roselli. It's got to be a special moment to be able to be part of that, so thank you. Director Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, I too wanted to thank our representatives from 522 for the stories that they shared. And I know that I've been on the Cap to Cap trip more times than I can count. Went on with another organization that I represented, but it was always a pleasure being part of Metro Fire's team on many of those trips to talk with the individuals that I knew politically that weren't always fond of the firefighters, and got to show them in a different light and help introduce them to an organization that they were unfamiliar with, that they oftentimes became big fans of in the process. So good luck doing that with all the participants this year.
Thank you very much. Director Clark.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, first of all, I'd like to thank our staff, our council, and the men and women of Metro Fire who work so hard day in and day out to protect our community. So thank you very much. And next year, I hope to go to the Cap to Cap. I think I'll be able to swing it, with my job, my obligations. So thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To you. As far as the thanks goes, I'll echo what everyone else has already said. And you're going to hear it from me for another 2 months, but June 23rd, Tropical Fair, I want to see everyone there. There's no reason why we shouldn't be there. So thank you.
Appreciate that. Director Sheets.
I just wanted to congratulate all the retirees. Excited to hear about the single roles becoming paramedics, and thank you to 522 for that. I fortunately get to be part of seeing the hospital side and that side, and it's great to hear stories like that. Medic 50 also had a great save of a 44-year-old father, and he dropped in front of his family. They were there. They started CPR immediately, and he has made a full recovery, was discharged, and the only thing that he remembers is that his chest is really sore, but very, very thankful. And so appreciate that. Congratulations. And that's it. I'm very excited about going to Cap and representing Metro.
Thank you very much. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Echoing all the positive comments from my fellow directors, and wishing those of you traveling Cap to Cap a safe journey. And there are a lot of very positive stories that I know you will continue to share with our fellow representatives and agency leads in our region. Best of luck and have a good time.
Thank you very much. I just have a couple things. When we close this evening, we will close with a moment of silence. Back in West Virginia, we had a tragedy where 2 firefighters were killed and 3 were injured as their truck overturned on a turnpike. Also near and dear to me, it's personal, from the Pig Bowl Guns and Hoses. He was an Auburn firefighter engineer. Trent Lenholt played in the game for 10 years, was honored as the Hall of Fame this year, had succumbed to his cancer and passed away recently. So that hit us really hard, because that's what that game represents, is recognizing the true heroes that play that game. So I'd like to recognize him as well. I want to thank Metro Fire. We have some uneasiness in our communities right now with what's going on, and there's been some planned demonstrations, and then there's been some who come in who want to do a little bit more than just peacefully demonstrate. Having to put operations together, but to see Metro Fire there, not only there to help and assist in any type of extractions or rescues, but to see how planned and educated and professional they were about if actually someone falls ill, if someone passes out, and what those plans were. So learning from them, showing up and being those good partners, I truly appreciate it. And I do want to clear the air a little bit. As it was mentioned, I agree that Chief Harms is a deciding factor on a lot of things, but he collaborates, and that's the leadership that he has. And him and I collaborated on who was going to Cap. I know it was mentioned earlier that it was on the board clerk. Melissa does a fine job, but Chief Harms and I collaborated on who was going this year, and I think we have a great team. Look forward to others joining that team next year, representing Metro Fire, this district, the personnel involved, and the human beings behind the uniforms. and behind the operation. So we look forward to all that. We have a great plan. Chief Johnson, first class. The way you have prepared our public safety team and prepared all of us as freshmen going back, as we said, but calming our basically uneasiness, again, first class. Thank you very much for all your time on that. And that's all I have. We're going to go ahead and adjourn, go into closed session. No offense, but hopefully nobody's out here when we get back. Thank you very much. Politics gets involved in some cases, which is unfortunate.
Or gee, why aren't you still there?
Good. And now with Stanley, she likes.
Good.
All that on camera.
Sorry, sir.
I want to make a really interesting statement, then just leave.
Well, for the cameras too. For the
Okay, we'll go ahead and open session back in order. Council Lawver, would you like to report out?
Sure. The board met in closed session to consider the Government Code Section 910 claim of Garbux Singh. By unanimous decision, the board voted to reject the claim and to refer the matter to the district's insurance carrier. The board also met in closed session for conference with legal counsel on pending litigation identified in the agenda. No action was taken.
Thank you very much. Prior to adjournment, just a reminder, we're going to do a quick moment of silence for the West Virginia firefighters and Trent Lindholt, the Auburn firefighter and fire dog, former player. So. Very much. Meeting will be April 26, 6 p.m. in these chambers.